Yeah, somewhere with Docker. It's completed today. Docker. One, two. Okay, yes, let's go through the one first. So we are done with Docker installation. We just downloaded Docker Debian file, added it to the key, and just installed it the same way we did with Jenkins. Okay. Then we made a small change in UFW firewall. That's it. So sudo docker, you have to run first initially when you install sudo docker hyphen d, and will actually start running the Docker daemon. Okay. So once Docker daemon is started, we can simply look at the commands which we have. Okay, so we have different commands: attach, build, commit, cp, path, different, rmi, rm, run, kill, load, put, a lot of them. Ps will mostly, what we use is ps to list the containers. Okay, stop to stop a container, start to start a container, run to run a new command, to run a command in a new container. Okay, it doesn't run it in a old container, but when you give run, it runs it in a new container. Okay, and what else? Build. Okay, to build a new container, and to attach something to an existing or running container. Okay, so images, to list all the existing images. Okay, so to kill a container or stop a container totally, forcefully, if it's not responding or becomes inactive in some state, if you want to stop it, you have to go with kill a running container. So these would be the commands which you'll be mostly using. Okay, and diff to just inspect changes on container file system, we'll be using diff. Okay, so I'll show you actually how we'll create a container. The other day I just showed you how to create an image, right? Only image I showed you. Docker pull Ubuntu, right? So it will create an Ubuntu image or a CentOS image, and it will show you when it is created when I do sudo docker images, right? So now how we will actually make changes to an image, okay? And how we will commit the changes to it, okay? That all we will see now. So somewhere here. So when images are all listed, okay, take the public IP. You have two images of Docker, okay? The two which we created, right? So if you want to really pull another version of OS, we can actually pull another version of OS using Docker pull whatever OS you want to pull, okay? Sudo Docker, sudo Docker pull whatever operating system you want to use, okay? Image name, whatever image name you want to pull it from, you can use it, okay? Showing them. Just creating another image, the latest one, whatever I wanted from this version. I have three of them now. Okay, I don't have a tag now as of now. So this is the latest which I have created. Okay, this is the last one now. 0. So this is a new one. And this is an old one. Okay, so just renamed it to none. Okay, and this is whatever if default it creates the one with the latest name. Okay. So now, if you want to commit some changes to a image or a container, how are you going to do it? Okay. Sudo docker commit whatever it's the image name, then image. It's a container ID. Okay, it's a container ID and then image. Okay. So how are you going to work with a container actually? Okay. So we'll first create a new container and then we'll speak about the other stuff. Okay.
Vandana,
Yeah, tell me.
image would be created with all the apps installed, right?
All the
If we have any apps installed on the previous OS, those apps also will be imaged, right?
yeah, an operating system, whatever, only apps will be installed.
Okay.
Image can contain apps, Sampath, but mostly we do usually do a Docker pull on a base OS usually most of the time. Okay, let's see. I'll show you. That's my image. Go hello. Okay. So run my image. PS. Sorry. Docker PS. just a list. Let's see how's it's not showing a list of containers. Okay, it's is one with the name test, which is created one. Docker create 12 test. Okay, so you can specify all the other parameters of the name and all even. Okay, name and the ports and everything can be specified. You don't take some default value. So sudo docker create 12 test. Okay, when I did this, this is the container that was created. Okay, so this container is created but not yet started, right? Which okay, let's use the container ID instead. Created about a minute ago. Do a PS. Sure. Docker PS. Okay. We're going to execute something inside this container. Let's say, let's imagine we have a plain base container. Okay, let's think. Okay, this machine, I took an Ubuntu image out of it. This machine has Jenkins installed inside it, or else it could be, there could be some scenarios whether when we are doing it on a plain instance. Okay, so after creating a container, I want to actually install some softwares inside it, or install some usually application inside it without uh, you know um, without more thing related to database or something. It's like it's a lightweighted application which I want to attach inside. Just say let's consider with a software something like I want to just install Apache inside it, or I want to install something like Tomcat inside it, and just make sure that they are running or not, or just install VI editor inside it. Small things, because these don't come default with the operating system, right? So to do this and save it as a and save it, you have to execute it on a Docker container, right? I shown you few set of commands. Where is it? Docker, right? So here we have events export. Oh, it's an old one, I guess. I'll show you from the help only. Execute. So if I have to run something inside a running container, I have to give it with execute command. Okay. And if I have to inspect some changes within a container's file system, I have to use different diff for it. Okay. So and not only that, now I have a new container which is up and running. So create command is used to create a new container. But if I want to you know stop the container, I can use stop and all, but there is some option called as pause, which will stop all. Pause, stop at that. For that moment it will stop all the processes inside that container. As of now, no process will be running inside that container. Okay. Yeah, I'm pause for that. This doesn't work out right. Going down. Docker PSI. Created. Yeah. When you do ps-l, I'll be getting few details. What are they? Just have a look at it. So first one is the container ID. Okay. So apart from container ID, the image which we have used, Ubuntu is the image which we have used, and what is the command which we have attached along with the container, or trying to run a command inside a new container. When you do run, it runs this command inside a new container. Okay. Echo hello. And when is it created? Created 16 seconds ago. What is its status now? And what is the port number on which it is running? Nothing. And what is the name with which it is created? Okay. That's it. So if you want to create a new one, it will be sudo docker create. If you want to run, it will be docker run. Following my notes, but I'm not clear about it. Yeah, this would do. Chalo. Okay, once it is done, let's do something. We will run a container, right? We need to give it a container ID. Is it not running? Mention image library. Okay. Yes. Yes, hyphen L. One is running. Okay, that is this one. Okay, fine. Did commit ID is there? Let it go. Okay. We'll update it.
Spandana,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever we do, I mean like commit, run, or whatever we do, we need to do it with the container ID, or can we use the name, image name we have, right? The name we can use.
Actually, that is not the image name. We didn't create a name for an image. See, that's an image name. Okay. So we are working on containers, not on image. Okay.
Okay, I got it.
You're working on containers. But rather than this name, I'll show you how to rename this container with the standard name. Docker and hyphen t hyphen I ubuntu bin bash. Okay, Docker. Okay. So now I'm sorry. Docker run hyphen t hyphen I ubuntu slash bin bash. So root at the rate ff69883450 somewhere. Okay, and somewhere I'm exiting. So where did I exit from? I exited from a container. Okay, Docker ps hyphen l. Okay, this is the container ID. Okay, so now I have to exit from, I'll be logging into this container now. How we will actually log into a container and start working on a container. So docker run hyphen t hyphen I, okay, options with the image name, okay, and whatever place you want to go, okay. So now let's rerun it once again. So I'm inside the container. When I do an ls, I'm inside the container. Hat slash bin slash bash. I'm at the root directory inside a container, not outside. Just for your user. Okay. Or you can go back to cd home. Do an ls, nothing is there. Okay. Just somewhere now inside the container. Just trying to show you. Okay. So now once you are inside the container, okay, you can do some changes, okay, and then you can save those changes, okay. So what actually nothing, I just create some file. Let's do whatever they're asking. Okay, I created a directory Santara and I did a cd into it. Actually here nothing was there earlier, right? So now here in the same place I created some directory and I did a SSH. I'm doing a cd into it, okay. You know what touch command is used for, right? Touch command is used to create a empty file, okay. Oh, okay. So now after this, if now I have to commit the changes, okay. So how am I going to commit the changes? When I want to commit the changes, there are few parameters which I have to consider. Some message, okay, and hyphen a, the author name, okay, and the ID, okay, and whatever whatever name you want to give to it, okay. So this is all you have to set to the container when you have already made some changes and you want to save those changes, or else you can always save it with some other command like docker commit. So this is also docker commit, but here we are giving some additional parameters. If you don't give any additional parameters, the same way it has taken it earlier, it will take all the default parameters and do a commit. That's it. No much difference. Desktop not found. Why? Okay. Why it didn't work? Because I was inside the container. Hyphen m, then docker file, whatever it is, hyphen a, new, commit ID, just a commit. Still 5 minutes ago, whatever it is. Airport. 5470, the last one. So let's go back and see whether whatever changes we did to the containers are saved or are they existing or not. Okay, so we did some change inside a container. What we just created a folder center and we just did a touch file. So let's see whether that is still present inside the container, or when we just did an exit, did it save the changes or did it leave like that directly without um, it's saving the changes. Container, do an ls has been bash hash. Docker sorry, this is our image. Okay, sorry, this is the image ID. Sorry. So now it would be we are inside it now. Now do an ls. We have center. I'm sorry. So whatever changes we did to our container is saved inside, and we did a save. So what is the concept of Docker basically? So whatever changes we are doing, it is taking a snapshot of it and saving it, right? That is the actual concept. It takes a snapshot of it and saves it, okay? Which when relaunched will persist all the existing data, okay? So this is something like which doesn't bundle the operating system when it is taking a snapshot. It doesn't bundle. If it is bundled the operating system, the size would not be 132 MB. It would have been much more larger. But when it says it is 132 MB, it is bundled only the additional information or additional data present inside the operating system, but not the operating system. Okay, so now when we did some changes and created a folder and created a file inside it, and we did a commit, when we did a commit, what happened? Whatever changes we have done have been committed, and they've been placed in a new place as a new image. Okay, so if I want to have an updated version, let's say I have some operating system running, I have logged in a container, inside a container. Okay, so with this image now I can load a new container, right? I can run a new container just with this, right? So when I do docker ps-l now, it shows me actually this container. Okay, this is the last container which we have used, so it is speaking about this container. So how did this container come? So this is just an image ID. Something which we had to is an image ID. What is this ID which is generated? Very simple. I don't know if it is confusing or simple. It is, first we have an image. This is the image. Okay, so once image is there, now I did docker run, which is running a container with the image whichever we specified. That is the reason when it has run a container, it is usually when you give docker run the image name, it will run and leave there. But when you give -t-i, it will actually log into that container after running it. So that's the reason why we are inside this container here. Okay. So it has all the changes whichever it's saved by us are saved here. Okay, we want to execute something inside the container. Okay, from outside you can do it with exec command. Okay, run a command inside a running in container. Okay, just to run a command. As we know, create a new container, inspect changes on a container's file system. Yes, there are some changes inside this container system. C root. Okay, and it's not bash history. Let's log into the container and see what it is all speaking about. Inspect the ID. Okay, root.bash history. I want to show you one file. CVI command not found. Simple. Vim. Vim.tiny notes. Docker. Not found. It's an empty file that we should create. Okay. Put version 3. Validate the container ID. Docker images. Their latest v3, which will have which is created 5 seconds ago, which will have the latest changes. Okay, the whatever I created a test file. Okay, that would have inside it. Okay, so now it's all about making changes to our container and saving it, right? So now let's go ahead inside and see how we will actually work inside it. So create a container, okay, whatever, run a memcache service inside it, and after running a memcache service inside it, okay, so after that you have to create an image for it. How are you going to create an image for a memcached container? So Docker build. So this is one way of creating a container is, first one I have told you, it is through Docker create or a Docker run with the help of an image. Two ways we'll create or and run a container. But there is a third way, it is running a container from a build file, that is Docker build. Okay, that is a file which is more or less, it is this simple configuration file which says what should be done inside this container. Will not do anything, but we will install, we will run this Docker build command, which will actually run whatever operations which we are asking it to do inside a container. Okay, so that is about a Docker file. Okay, this is a Docker file. Okay, let's see what it is speaking about. It is used to run some memcached containers. Okay, so its base is an Ubuntu image. Okay, so it says set the base from to use to Ubuntu. So from Ubuntu, and what is the maintainer name, whatever maintainer name you want to give, that is your name or my name, the author who is maintaining it. Okay, and after, as soon as I log into a container, I want to do apt-get update. Okay, after that I want to install apt-get install -y memcached I want to install. Okay, and then I want to expose 112.11 port. Okay, and then I have to run, okay, cmd some arguments for this container -128 and set a user daemon and set a entry point as a memcache. That's it. And now this is what my container file will do, nothing it will do. Okay, so using it, how am I going to create? I'll do sudo docker build -t memcached _img. Okay, so because this will be tagged as memcached img, we'll be using it and will start running a container up with it. Okay, when we start running a container with it, it will actually try to do all the operations which we have asked it to do inside a container. Okay, that is about a Docker file. So I'm not confused. I'll take few more examples today and I'll explain few more scenarios, where we'll be using this container. So one use case is updating a container and taking an image of it and saving it. Okay, so update a container, update a live container, that is one scenario in which we should also focus on. I'll show you. And there is one sudo docker run name so version mismatch actually. Okay, same thing, right? That will work. Choose to rename. It's a lot of change. Right, to test. Okay, so Docker rename. So instead of using a container ID, you can now use a name even, but preferable to use a container ID. Because container ID will be changing every time. So in case you want to use it somewhere, where you don't always check the container ID, you can go ahead with using a name for it. That is, the name is test. Okay, that's it, container name. So how you are going to delete a container? There is an running container, docker kill the container ID will kill the container. It says container itself is not running. We haven't run it. Okay. If at all a container is running, you want to open a new tab and then kill it. It will kill the container. Okay. Let's once log into this container. So it's image ID. It doesn't work inside a container because Docker is not installed inside a container. Just to explain. Okay. So now duplicate session. Container is running. Sudo docker ps-l. So it says it is up since 42 seconds. It is up and running. So now if I want to kill this container, okay, or stop this container, okay, whatever, both. Let us stop first. Let's see if it works. It has exited here. I didn't do anything here. It did an exit here. So if at all I want to stop the container, I have to do an either it is responding, so fine. So some scenarios, if they become unresponsive and have to kill them, use kill command, which will kill the container and update the container ID. See, it has killed it. Here, when I did a stop, the same way in which, how are we stopping it? We are stopping it with the exit command inside it. No stop, no, nothing will work inside a container. I have to give an exit to come out of the container. So when you did a stop properly, it is doing an exit and saving everything and then coming out. But when you do kill, it will kill or forcibly exit it. It didn't do any operation, but it just pushed it out of that container to the terminal. Okay, that's the difference between kill and stop. Okay, so forceful way of deleting it, stopping it.
Spandana, every time the container ID keeps changing?
Yeah, container ID keeps changing. We'll do it with Okay, container ID keeps changing every time. Every time we run a container, the container ID will be changing. This is the image, right? Sorry. This got a new container ID, but let's go out here. Sudo docker images will return all the image IDs. Okay, so now docker docker sorry. I'll tell you one thing now. Okay, actually, see, why was it changing all the time? Why was the container ID changing all the time is I was doing a run. So what is the functionality of run is it creates a new container and then starts running inside it. But when I want to actually work on the current container without disturbing it, I can use docker start to start the container and I can do docker stop to stop the container. So that's the reason why this container is now up and running. Okay, so but here when I was doing docker run -t -i with the image ID, it is going to the image, it is running so it's a command specifically inside it and it is pulling up a new container. But here it is not the scenario, I'm just starting it and I can just stop the same container ID. It stopped it, but still check you have the same container ID. It will not change. It changes whenever you are doing it with run command. If you're doing it with stop and start, it will not affect. Sampath, this was your doubt, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing a run or if you're doing a create, it will create a fresh one. If you're doing start and stop, it's like the same EC2 instance which might have a different public IP, but as the way in which the private IP is similar, the same way the container ID will not change. Okay, so probably some other parameters might get changed, but this will not change. You can use it as a fixed one. Okay. So tomorrow I'll teach you how to update this container. So not creating a new container and updating it and saving it, but I'll tell you how to update this existing container. Log into this container, update changes to this container, save and exit. How we will do it from this container. Okay, even the one container which is not created. So we saw how we can log into a container -t-i if we are using it as a new container, running it, or let's see how we are going to do it from this side. And another use case of doing it with a build file. Okay, sorry, running it with a file, docker file. Okay, and creating a new container and running some memcache service inside it, and how we'll create an image of it. So Docker is very simple, running something inside a container, taking an image of it, saving it. Again, take this image, run something inside it, and save this container, exit. If you want, you will create a new image, or else you will leave this container like this, and again start it and stop it, start it and stop it. That is what Docker is all revolving about. It is nothing else to do. Okay, so now we have seen how to work on our new containers. We'll see how we will update an existing container and how we will build containers from a build file. Okay, two pending things. Okay,
Okay.
chalo. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a break for a long time. Don't mind.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay.
Chalo.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Reminder, your Airtel mobile bill for rupees